Married for 8 years with no child to seal their union, just when hope had completely faded, an old woman appeared, carrying a mysterious gift and a prophecy. What followed shattered logic, tested loyalty, and redefined love. If you think love can't survive infertility, betrayal, and heartbreak, this story will prove you wrong. Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so to get the latest Nigerian movies from us. Today, we're talking about a captivating new Nigerian movie that offers more than just entertainment. It's filled with meaningful lessons you won't want to miss. So, let's dive right into it. The story begins with a group of Christian believers attending a baptism ceremony. Among them is a young girl named Dia. After losing her parents, Dia lives with her grandmother, who takes good care of her. From a young age, Dia has loved God, and the church sponsors her education. Her best friend, Asosa, the daughter of their pastor, is always by her side. One day, while Dia is returning from school, an old woman gives her directions, which she appreciates. When Dia gets home, she makes an excuse to her grandmother to avoid going to the market with her. Dia especially loves Sundays, mainly because she enjoys watching a church brother named Dilly play the drums. She also cherishes listening to her grandmother's moonlight stories and sometimes helps settle disputes among the neighborhood children. Dilly would often come by to pick up his younger siblings after these storytelling sessions, and Dia admired him greatly. However, when her grandmother passed away, the storytelling session stopped, and Dia felt deeply alone. Years later, Dia returns to her hometown to celebrate the birthday of their pastor, who had been like a father to her. She brings a gift for him. When she sees her childhood crush, Dilly, she composes herself and enters the house with the pastor's wife. Dia prepares herself for the occasion the following night. During the celebration, after Dilly gives a speech honoring the pastor, he begins to tease Dia. Asosa, now married and pregnant, quickly defends Dia and makes Dilly look foolish, though everyone ends up enjoying the moment together. The next day, Dilly visits Dia to apologize for the way he spoke to her the night before. He also brings her a piece of clothing he made. Dia, after a little hesitation, accepts the gift and takes his number just in case the clothes need adjustments. In truth, she loves everything about it. In the days that follow, Dilly often comes to walk Dia home, hoping to become close friends, while Dia is secretly falling in love. One morning, Dilly witnesses a group of street boys, led by someone named Adodo, harassing a young man. Dilly bravely intervenes and defeats them, forcing them to back off. As time goes on, Dilly builds a strong customer base for his tailoring business, thanks to his skill. He frequently visits Dia and once surprises her with makeup equipment to support her tutorial videos. He even introduces her to his mother, and they all have a wonderful time together. For Dia, it feels like the love she's always hoped for is finally becoming real. Dilly seems to have everything she's been looking for. One day, Dia encourages Dilly to start sewing female clothing too, recognizing his talent. When she finds out that he'll be moving to Lagos soon, her mood changes. Sensing her sadness, Dilly promises to take her somewhere special later that day. He takes her to an elevated hilltop and confesses how much she means to him. They both express their love for each other, making Dia's long-held dreams come true. From then on, Dilly begins visiting Dia more often. She finally finds the courage to sit close to her late grandmother's chair, a place filled with memories. Dilly comforts her, and they share a heartfelt moment. But trouble soon follows. One day, Adodo and his gang show up and lock Dilly's shop, despite the fact that he had made all necessary payments. Adodo warns Dilly that he's just getting started and leaves with his boys. That same night, while Dilly and Dia are spending time together, one of Dilly's apprentices arrives to inform him that his shop is on fire. Dilly rushes there in pain and despair, devastated at the loss of everything he had invested. Meanwhile, Adodo and his gang mock his suffering. Now, I'm sure many of you can guess who was responsible for the fire, but let's watch and see what actions will be taken against them. A few days later, Dilly meets with his pastor, who encourages and prays for him. That night, Dilly tells Dia that he will be leaving for Lagos soon, but promises to come back for her. Dia's mood changes again. She quietly brings out her savings to support him, showing just how much she loves him. Dilly is deeply touched by her gesture, and they share a beautiful moment together. After some time, Dia began receiving gifts from Dilly, especially on special occasions like her birthday. One of the most meaningful gifts he gave her was a phone so they could stay in touch more easily. Their bond continued to grow stronger. However, after a while, Dia started feeling sad because Dilly's phone was unreachable for more than a week. One day, while Dia was telling moonlight stories to children, just like her grandmother used to, she was surprised to see Dilly show up. He came to propose to her, and she happily said yes. They shared a beautiful moment together. Sometime later, Dia and Dilly got married. They supported one another, prayed together, and agreed that they would wait 1 year before trying to have a child so they could focus on their relationship. Dilly's business continued to prosper. He partnered with a young man named Doten, who shared the same passion for fashion design. Meanwhile, Dia excelled in her work as a content creator, especially with her makeup tutorials, often using her husband's face for practice and demonstration. Over time, a wealthy woman named Madame Samira, who knew Dilly well, connected Dia with her fashion brand. Dia was hired to do makeup for her clients, and when Dilly came to visit her at the studio, they had a wonderful time together. Dia was thrilled about the direction her life and marriage were going. After their first-year anniversary, during which they made love, Dia began to hope for pregnancy. However, months passed without any sign. Despite this, Dilly remained supportive and always gave her hope. They visited a hospital where the doctor confirmed that both of them were in good health. On their way out, Dia accidentally bumped into an old woman, but respectfully greeted her before leaving. Later, Doten talked to Dilly about his own lifestyle, revealing that he had children from various women. Dilly was not interested in this type of conversation and clearly disagreed with such a mindset. As the months went by, Dia and Dilly continued trying to conceive without success, and Dia began to suffer emotionally. One day, a woman who noticed Dia's pain struck up a conversation. She shared her own inspiring story and referred Dia to a client in her hometown. When Dia arrived for the makeup job, she tried to freshen up, but found there was no water. She went to the well and helped an elderly woman fetch water, even carrying it to the woman's house. The woman gave Dia a gift, and after Dia shared her hopes and desires, the woman offered words of encouragement and told her not to give up hope. Now, the question remains, will Dia ever have a child of her own? Stick around to find out, because the story is about to take a very emotional turn. One day, Doten was chatting with a staff member named Nellie. He tried to convince her that she could bear a child for Dilly. He attempted to matchmake the two, but Dilly was not interested. A few days later, Dilly was driving home and called his mother, asking her to pray for him. Meanwhile, Dia had been undergoing assisted reproductive technology, AVR, treatments, and was diagnosed with ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. She had difficulty urinating, but her husband comforted her and went to his room to pray fervently for her, which deeply moved Dia. They visited the hospital again, but the report was unchanged. At church, Dia observed other women with their children and couldn't help but long for one of her own. One day, while Dia was trying to give away her baby items, her mother arrived and insisted that she take the herbal medicine she brought. Dilly, however, refused. At the fashion studio, Dilly was collecting a message from one of his top clients, who was also a huge fan. Doten kept joking and trying to tempt Dilly, but he wasn't interested. That night, Dilly prepared to be intimate with Dia, but she turned him down, frustrated that there had still been no result. She walked out, leaving him surprised. Is infertility enough reason to break a marriage? Let's find out. The next day at the gym, Doten continued to try convincing Dilly to get involved with another woman. While working out, they noticed an attractive client, but Dilly stayed focused. Then, one night, Dia suddenly screamed. Dilly and his mother rushed in, and to their amazement, Dia was pregnant. They celebrated the good news joyfully. That same day, Doten was on a call with Beauty, Dilly's client. He continued pressuring Dilly to pursue her. But when Dilly told him that his wife was pregnant, Doten finally congratulated him, and they shared a happy moment. The next morning, Dia had a strange dream she couldn't understand. Later, she and Dilly prepared to go to the hospital for a scan. When they arrived, the doctor told them there was no baby. He asked if Dia had taken anything unusual. She admitted to taking the herbal medicine from her mother-in-law. Dilly was furious because she had gone against his wishes. Hurt, he walked away while Dia remained in deep pain. That evening, Dilly returned home and told his mother to leave and go back to her own house. Later, they went to deliver some clothes to Beauty. When they got to her place, Beauty invited Dilly in. She appreciated the dress he made for her, but she went a step further and tried to kiss him. Dilly stopped her immediately and ran away. When he got home, he made love to his wife instead. That was a very close call. As the saying goes, bad company corrupts good manners. What happens next will surely leave you thinking. The next morning, Dia noticed a different perfume scent on her husband's clothes. Realizing he had visited another woman the previous night, she became upset. Out of frustration and pain, she encouraged him to go back to that woman, saying he should be with someone who could give him a child. In anger and heartbreak, she told him to leave, and both of them began to express their emotional pain. Later that morning, while Dia was recording a video, she heard a knock on the door. When she opened it, she was surprised and emotional to see her best friend, Esosa, who had come to comfort her. Unknown to Dia, it was her husband, Dilly, who had invited Esosa to visit. Dia gave Esosa most of her baby items. Esosa, however, encouraged her not to give up on her marriage and reminded her of the love they once shared. They eventually changed the topic and enjoyed spending time together. Later that day, Dilly visited Dia and shared his plan for them to move abroad. He hoped that leaving the country would help them reconnect and restore their faith and love. But Dia refused. She told him she needed space and left in emotional pain. Could this really be the end of their relationship? Is divorce the next step? Let's find out. Dia traveled back to her grandmother's house in the village and stayed alone for some time. Eventually, she received a phone call that prompted her to prepare to return. On her way back the next day, she encountered the same old woman she had previously helped. She gave the woman a ride, and during the journey, Dia opened up about her struggles with infertility. The old woman encouraged her with words of faith and reassurance. She then gave Dia another baby outfit, telling her not to give it away this time because she would soon need it. She reminded Dia of the power of unity between a husband and wife. As Dia drove away, she began to reflect on the woman's words. Inspired, she sent a message to Dilly, asking him to meet her at the same spot where they had first professed their love. They met at that meaningful place and with heartfelt emotion rekindled their love and reconnected as a couple. Months later, Dia was back to her cheerful self, playing happily with Esosa's children. She mentioned feeling sick to her friend, unaware of what it might mean. The next day, while Dilly was at work, lost in thought, Dia went to the hospital for treatment. Later, as she resumed her tutorial recording at home, Dilly came back with exciting news. The nurse had confirmed she was pregnant. They celebrated the good news with joy and gratitude. They later went for a scan, which confirmed she was indeed expecting. Months passed, and one day, Dilly received a call from his mother announcing that Dia had given birth. He rushed to the hospital, where the doctor congratulated him. It was triplets. Overwhelmed with joy, Dilly and his mother celebrated this incredible blessing. Weeks later, Dilly brought some baby items from their room. Among them was a cloth that reminded Dia of the one given to her by the old woman. She insisted they visit the village to find her. They searched the entire hometown, but couldn't find the old woman anywhere. Then Dia remembered the woman's words, that she would always appear when needed. Dia came to understand that the woman had always been with her, in spirit and hope. This realization brought her peace, and she believed the woman would come again someday. They left the village comforted. This movie teaches powerful lessons. Have faith, never give up, and don't end a good relationship without trying your best to save it. Stand by the person you love, work hard to succeed, be mindful of the advice you accept, and avoid negative influences. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more interesting updates on the latest Nigerian movies. See you next time.